Hi, it's Tom from Scan Pro Audio, and today I'm not talking about an audio product per se, but I'm talking about something that's really important to all creatives, and that's backup. It might not be the most interesting thing that we could possibly talk about in the creative world, but it is the most essential, and it's often overlooked by many creative, especially when you're young and you don't really see the point of it. Well, let me tell you, as someone who has had a hard drive die on them, full of project work, it isn't something that you want to go through again. And indeed, anyone who has been through it will have implemented a very strict backup regime afterwards. Now, today we're looking at the QNAP TS451 Plus. This is a 4-bay NAS box from QNAP, and it's got some lovely features that really help you, especially creatives, get the most out of your work, keep it safe, and give you a few little extras on top. Consider this something like a hub. Not like the budget hub that you might have got off your internet service provider and is actually an access point, but an actual hub. This is where all your data will get sent to and then can get distributed back from to multiple devices. That's got the advantage of not being connected locally to a certain device that then has to be on for other devices to access it, as this just stays always on, it's fairly low power, and you can just forget about it because it's always there. Now, one of the keen things, especially for the musicians out there, is that we're always trying to reduce the ambient noise level of the studio area. So the big cause of that in your computer is the mechanical drives. Now, we need the mechanical drives because they've got lots of space on them. We just don't really need them in the machine. So this is a 4-bay unit. It can hold up to 4 6-terabyte drives. This can be positioned anywhere where it's got access to a gigabit network. It has to be a wired port, and on a single connection with a gigabit router, you can find, in fact, I will show you here that we can go into it and we'll copy over a large file that's on my desktop, and we're going to get well over 100 megabytes a second. Now, that's an awesome speed because it's getting close to the speed of a single mechanical hard drive. So you're almost not losing performance. Now, this has got another way of working in that it's actually got 2 network ports to it. If you team this up with a managed Ethernet switch, managed gigabit Ethernet switch, then you can actually use both ports together. Now, that can mean that more people can access this at one time, or if you've got a high-end motherboard or a Mac Pro with dual gigabit network ports, you can actually set that up to team together and work at twice the speed. So you can pull well over 200 megs, and in fact I think up to about 230 megabytes a second. One thing that this 4-bay QNAP has is the facility of something called RAID. Now, this gives you redundancy. This is RAID 5 config across the 4 drives. And essentially, it means that if one of the drives dies, you can replace it with a drive of the same size, and it will rebuild the drives with all your data, so you haven't lost anything. What RAID 5 does do is it uses one of the drives in your configuration for this process, so you lose the ability to use that drive for storage. So essentially it takes it down from a device that holds just over 21 terabytes to something that holds just over 16 terabytes. But you've got that all-important security that your data is safe. If you don't want to do that and you just want to maximize on capacity, then of course you can reformat this in another way to utilize all of those sort of nearly 22 terabytes. Of course, all major backup software is able to write directly to the QNAP, but they have their own suite of programs as well. Mac users, fear not, you can access Time Machine as you may already have been doing so, but writing directly to the NAS instead of a local drive. The unit can be administered from a web browser on any computer on the local network. When you do log in, you will see this home screen, and it's in an app-like format, which is obviously quite familiar to all of us. I'm going to load up one of my favourite apps, and probably the main one that's going to be applicable to the creatives, is this thing called QSync Central. Now, this doesn't just let you sync to the device, it gives you little applications that run either on Mac or PC, and not only will they sync files between your computer and the NAS box, but they will also sync them between all of your devices that you set up. These can be cross-platform, these can be mobile devices. This can even talk to cloud storage platforms and make another backup there. So it's also got a killer feature, which is called Smart Delete. Now, Smart Delete, when it's enabled, lets you delete files locally from your computer, but they will stay on the NAS box. So you'll never accidentally delete that thing, even though you were trying to free up space on your local machine. There's also an app called Hybrid Backup Sync, which lets you back up to big cloud services such as Amazon S3 and Google's cloud storage, but also to more familiar ones probably to you, such as Dropbox, OneDrive, and Google Drive. Around the back of the QNAP, there are some USB ports which you can connect external drives to. You can set the software up to back up to those drives, but one really nice function, especially for the videographers out there, is that there's one-touch backup from the front. So if you come in from a shoot, go and get your drive, say you're running something like a Blackmagic cinema camera, take the drive out, stick a USB 3 adapter on the end of it, connect it up to the front panel USB port, press the one-touch button, and it will automatically back that up to the QNAP. So far I've talked about backup functionality, but there's lots of other features of this device that are fantastic to really make it the hub of your home. Now, for some of us with large internet-enabled families, a problem often faced is trying to stream video content to multiple devices at once. Now, the QNAP has got hardware encoding built in, so files stored locally on the device can actually be transcoded on the device to a format applicable to the mobile device that it's being sent to. Hence, it cuts down on the amount of data actually transferred and can help you enable more people to watch content at the same time. It can work as a media streamer, not only wirelessly via AirPlay and Chromecast, but also it's got a HDMI output on the back and connects up to your TV, and it works as a media player. Obviously, if you have gone and put your unit under the stairs or somewhere else away from your TV, then you may need to run quite a long HDMI cable to reach your device. Just remember, anything over 10 meters, you really should be running an active repeater cable with a USB power at the receiver end to make sure that you get the best possible signal from the device to your TV. As the device has got media player functionality, it actually comes with its own remote control, so you can control the device from the comfort of your sofa. If you're a videographer, especially because they are used to dealing with big file sizes, then 16 terabytes of storage might not last you the rest of your life. Fear not with this, because you can connect up a 5 or 8 bay expansion chassis to it to take you up to a total of 12 drives. If you are a creative, then chances are you've got some rather lovely and often expensive equipment either at your home or at your studio. Now the QNAP can help you secure that via its surveillance station app, which lets you connect up IP cameras directly to the device. IP cameras connect up to your network, they send the data to the QNAP, and the QNAP can also then forward that data onto a cloud service for additional backup. Now, I've barely scratched the surface of the functionality of this QNAP unit, but as you can see, because of its app architecture, you can really customize this to make it work in whichever way you want it to, and make it the real hub of your home network.